Okay, let's take a look at this problem where we'll compute a labor rate variance and a labor efficiency variance. Here's the problem. Marvel Parts Inc. manufactures auto accessories. One of the company's products is a set of seat covers that can be adjusted to fit nearly any small car. And you see I'm reading right from here. The company has a standard cost system in use for all of its products. According to the standards that have been set for the seat covers, the factory should work 2850 hours each month to produce 1900 set of covers. The standard costs associated with this level appear right here in this table. And related to labor, it's 17,100, which comes to $9 per set of covers. During August, the factory worked only 2,800 direct labor hours and produced 2,000 sets of covers. And here's what we know about labor cost: $18,200, $9.10. Okay, now the solution is down here, and over here is how we calculate it. Now, if we want to calculate this directly, that's my choice of words for calculating it by taking the actual hours times the difference between the actual rate and the standard rate. We can calculate it this way by recognizing that there was 2,800 direct labor hours worked. That's the actual hours given right here. And we're going to multiply it times the difference between the actual rate and the standard rate. Well, how did we come up with those dollar amounts? Okay, well, let's look at the 650 first. Okay, they told us that the actual labor cost incurred was $18,200. That's given right here. And we know that they worked 2,800 direct labor hours. So 18,002 divided by 2,800 came up with an actual cost of $6.50 per hour. Well, how did we come up with the $6 standard amount? It's shown up here. And the $6 standard is calculated this way. 2,850 standard hours divided by 1,900 sets should be, well, comes out to be 1.5 standard hours per set. And at a $9 standard cost per seat divided by 1.5 standard hours, that comes out to be $6 standard rate per hour. Okay, now you may ask, where'd the 2,850 come from? That's right here. 2,850 hours are supposed to be used to produce 1,900 sets of covers. So that's how we're coming up with the 2,800 divided by 1,900 to come up with 1.5 standard hours per set. Then they tell us it should cost $9 per set. So if we take 9 divided by that 1.5, that's how we came up with the $6. Okay, so $6.50 minus $6 is 50 cents unfavorable times 2,800 hours gives us 1,400 unfavorable. That's how we calculate the labor rate variance. Now for the labor efficiency variance, we're going to take the standard rate times the difference between the actual hours and the standard hours. Well, the standard rate is $6. We've already calculated that. 2,800 hours is what they told us were used. 3,000 is the standard. Now, how do we come up with 3,000 hours? If we made 2,000 sets, we were expected to use $1.5 standard hours per set. Okay, we already calculated that earlier. That's 3,000 standard hours. So that's how we would compute the 2,800 versus the 3,000 hours to come up with the 1,200 favorable. All right, that's the direct approach. Now, you may find it easier to lay it out this way, where you actually have actual times actual on the left, standard times standard on the right, and an intermediate area where we take the actual hours times the standard rate. You know, over here it's actual hours times actual rate. Here it's standard hours times standard rate. The middle ground, you move over the first term, actual hours, and then you move over the second term from the right to come up with a middle ground. And you can do the math this way. The difference between the actual hours times actual rate and the middle ground gives you your rate variance. The difference between the middle ground and the far right would be your efficiency variance. Well, what is the middle ground? It's the actual hours of input at the standard rate. So you may find doing it in this kind of approach is easier for you. Some people find computing it directly is the easiest approach. But really the secret to working this problem is just understanding the conversions. And we've got a few conversions to go through. Okay, I hope that's helpful.